And welcome back to another episode of the Grip and Rip It Sports Podcast. I am Danny Tops. We've got Chris back here with us again.
Hey, yo.
And one of our recurring guests, our favorite guest, our producer, the loser of the house, JD Buonantony. Welcome back, Jay.
He's only our favorite because we have
Warm
to say
fucking
that.
welcome, people.
He's our producer,
But at
so
least-
he wrote the script.
I don't think much of you guys, but at least you kept your word and you brought me back for the free agency extravaganza.
Indeed, we did.
We appreciate you coming
Well,
coming on at short notice, man.
Yeah.
We had such a fucking problem with
See what happens when rappers bail?
That's how it goes.
Cracker producers, enter.
Well, I mean, after our IGTV
But that's none
video
of my
went over-
business.
went over 10 minutes when we were trying to talk a little bit of free agency, you know, we just had to fucking throw reason out the window and bring you back.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this can go because we might be able to spiral crazily here. Should be pretty good.
Busy day. Busy couple days.
Yeah, so
Very
far.
much so.
We got the draft today.
Draft is coming up. We're not really going to mock too much.
No,
but
outside of the top three, fucking no need to.
I don't really. There's,
Waste of time.
Yep, there's guys that are deep there that can help a lot of teams. It's not going to be out by then.
Yeah.
So.
I think 1 through 3, you obviously know what you're getting.
We know what we're going to get. We know we're going to get Zion number 1 to the Pelicans. We know that we're going to get Ja number 2 to the Grizzlies. And that's definitely locked in now with...
According to Chris, they printed jerseys already.
Yeah, long time ago. Like 4 weeks ago. The third pick is going to be most likely RJ Barrett to the Knicks. I mean...
Barring any type of fantastic trade offer that gets handed their way.
Like what?
Like I said, I don't think so. But
If I've learned anything from Kevin Costner's draft day, is that
Anything
anything can happen. Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
It takes one team to throw up a fucking king's ransom and say, "Hey, I'll give you 4 first-rounders in the future."
Yeah.
You know,
Is RJ Barrett that?
no.
Is John Morant that?
Jalen Rose thinks he is. Jalen Rose was just speaking very highly of RJ Barrett on the Jalen and Jacoby show.
I think he's going to be a fucking stud.
I'm very high on RJ Barrett.
I think he's good.
The best player in this draft today, and he probably has the longest career of anybody, and he's the most NBA ready today. And he is Steve Nash's godson.
That's a big proponent.
So,
But Canadian, huge negative. So
Depends on your thoughts on Canada. Blame Canada.
yeah, I mean, I've seen what Tristan Thompson and Anthony Bennett.
well, there's
are.
a bunch like Corey Joseph, Tristan Thompson, Anthony Bennett. There's more.
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. Yep.
No, Australian.
He's
Australian.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, it's weird.
Maybe we
Shout
can
out
go
Ben
through-
Simmons 3-pointer.
Say we can go through the
That
Australians
doesn't
too.
exist.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so outside of those top 3,
4 through 9, I think you're looking at some possibly
what
good
are
role players.
Another couple guys here right off the top 3 that intrigue you two as prospects.
What, so skip the first 3 guys?
We just went through them, so after them.
Oh, okay. I really like Michael Carter Jr.
You're talking about Kevin Porter Jr.
Kevin Porter Jr.
The kid from
I get him
USC.
mixed up with the kid from the Nuggets every
You like
time.
Michael Carter Williams? Is that what you like?
No, I hate that guy. He's Ben Simmons without Boost Mobile. No, the shooting guard from USC. I think
Kevin Porter.
Kevin Porter. That dude's a stud. I think that if the Lakers were still in it, they probably would have taken him at 4. Either him or Cam Reddish, maybe.
I saw that it was Darius Garland is who that they were going to take.
People
it for.
are fucking loving that guy. Well, if you need a point guard, I mean, that's the thing that he is a scorer though. So it's like, do you want your point guard to be the guy that's going to be scoring 25 points a game?
You have to remember that we're living in a league right now that Steph Curry is completely transcended, essentially, for the limitless range, can create his own shot off the dribble, can fucking
an
weave
entire
it around.
generation of people are trying to be like him.
Exactly. And we
Yeah.
had Trae Young last year, who was the Darius Garland of this year, who showed out pretty well the back half of last season and looking like he could actually be a stud. And that's what Darius Garland's being compared to now as well. Is he's a guy that can create a shot, has limitless range, on his jumper, and
I think he
can run the
translates
floor.
to a fantastic 2 guard. I don't know about the point guard thing. Especially they're talking about Cleveland's the one that might take him. Him and Colin Sexton
already have
together, he's
Colin
got to
Sexton.
play 2.
Yeah, I can't
they're
see
gonna be
Colin Sexton
undersized.
playing a shooting guard.
Cleveland is they're deep in the hole salary cap wise. They're like they're like minus 30. on
Tristan
cap.
Thompson got a 4-year $80.
Yeah.
It's
Kevin Love got
there
a
were so many bad
Kevin Love got a
contracts.
4-year 130.
Was that 3 years ago when that
a
was a
mess.
TV deal, wasn't
It's-
it? The
these-
bargaining agreement came up or whatever. That was dude. There were so many bad contracts after that happened.
Well, it was
So many.
And the Cavs could be even in a worse situation. Homerisms. I follow LeBron very closely, so I know a lot about Cleveland and whatever. But like they suckered Kyrie into a 5-year 90 the year before the salary cap went out.
Yeah.
So he got a 5-year 90. If he would have signed a year later, he would have got like a 5-year, like fucking, 130, 140, 150.
Yeah, then the next year, Reggie Jackson signed for $160 million.
Yeah, exactly. So Kyrie got the short end of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Dude, there were so many guys that you just. I remember when that happened. I was here at the house when I think it was Mozgov. How much did he sign for?
4-year 60.
Like
Dang.
Timothy
4-year
Mozgov
80.
got 4 years 60.
It might have been more, dude.
It might have been a 3-year 60
Yeah,
and
it
a
was like
4-year
a
80 for Dang.
3-year 65 for
They're just
Mozgov.
dudes that were just making multi-million dollars that are bench role players.
They never
that-
played.
Anybody else in the bottom half? You guys, not the bottom half, the outside the top 4. Are there-
I like Kevin Porter because you told me to watch him and I looked up some of his stuff and he impressed me.
I'm not saying he's going to be as good as James Harden, but he has that
He's-
kind of game.
The scoring prowess looks really good. There's other intangibles that we get, still out on, but the scoring looks like it's there. I like Darius Garland.
I'm very high on Jarrett Culver from
As I
Texas
said,
State.
You like Culver?
you seem like you'd probably be in the Culver. Depending on how the leg feels, I'm really into Bol, big time.
Yeah.
I think that dude can fucking play. I think
7-2, man. You can't teach 7-2.
No, but you also can't
threes,
teach.
the
You also
ball
can't
handling.
teach athleticism.
Yeah.
You can't teach being able to handle the ball at 7
7'2".
foot. You know, he's a guy that's had the ball in his hand his whole time playing in the AAU circuit. He's a much better overall basketball player than a lot of the guys. The deeper you get in the draft, you're just running into who's going to take a chance.
I mean, look at how athletic his daddy was at 7'6". I mean, was he
not-
that athletic? It wasn't like
It's not out of the
astronomical,
realm
but
to
No,
think
but
that he
like,
could still grow. Also.
people-
exactly.
people-
Look at his son and like everything that was handed down to him from his dad.
I mean, at that time, keep in mind, if you're over 6'8", you weren't allowed to shoot jumpers anyway.
No.
He was still hitting threes at 7'6". Not in a,
Not a great clip at
not
all,
in-
but he could hit them.
not in an absorbent amount.
But
or
you had to
anything like
step
that,
out on
but-
him. You had
Yeah.
to step out. You had
So
to
like,
honor it.
if you take the size with the shooting ability, the next generation of players, I think
today's medicine.
If Bol is healthy, he was a top 4.
Well, before
pick,
he
probably.
before he got hurt and before John Morant exploded onto the scene, he was a consensus top 3 guy.
3, 4, 5 for me.
Yeah, it was
for
right
sure.
after RJ and Zion. It was Bol was the 3rd guy.
And I know a lot of mock drafts have him falling to later in the first round now, but don't be surprised if some team
nobody
jumps out
I
and
wouldn't be
that
surprised.
first 15 in the lottery even. To
The
go and
last
take him.
projection I saw was I think it was like 19. I think.
19.
Whoever is getting him they're taking a flyer. It's a high risk, but the reward could pay off immensely. The deeper you get into this draft, these teams are already loaded.
Yeah,
These
exactly.
teams are ready to go. You add somebody that could be an all-star player, all-star caliber player if he gets healthy.
And you don't have.
That's,
You can
that's
put
a
him on
big win for one of these teams in the
Yeah,
20 to 30
and you can
range.
put him on a minute restriction too, so
you
he's
get a team
not
like
playing a lot.
you get a team like the Spurs.
What
land
if he
him.
misses? What if he misses a year and he comes back and is like the 6th man or potentially starter for the Rockets or something? Like, dude, like,
Yep.
is it really better? Yeah.
But 2 more guys that I like that I think could be sleepers, and I'm surprised that one of you guys haven't touched on it yet. I think that due to the situation that he was playing in, a lot of people are still sleeping on Cam Reddish.
Big time. Big time.
Well,
They got him dropping in the draft
the reason-
because of how he wasn't productive
I'm high
at
on
Duke.
Cam Reddish too. The reason for those things is because he had all of the help at Duke, and he didn't knock down shots like he should have with all of that help around him. He didn't shoot as good of a percentage as somebody coming in as a knockdown sharpshooter should have, especially at the college 3-point line. You know, I'm not saying he can't come out and shoot. I don't think his jumper's broken or anything like that. But that's the reason why he's falling. He should have shot a better percentage at Duke. I think they should have been able to rely on him more.
And I agree with what you're saying. Obviously, when he came in with that stigma, they put him into a 3-and-D type of role at Duke, and then he became the number 3 option as well. And I think that it probably was hard on him to translate
From being the guy.
from being the dude. He was one of the top players coming out of high school, signed with Duke, and then he gets to Duke, and now he's the number 3 option. I feel like that's going to be hard on any young kid that doesn't, the mentality of it. That's
Cam
tough to get
Reddish
over.
is an alpha. Let's not get that confused.
Yeah.
Cam Reddish thinks that
He's the dude.
Now, I did like he took a lot of ownership over the things that you're talking about. He said, sometimes it's tough. You get disengaged when you don't see the ball for 5 minutes, and then you hit you take one shot, you brick it, you don't see it again for 2-3 minutes. That can be tough on a star caliber player. Absolutely,
it can be tough on anybody, especially an 18-year-old
and
kid.
he really touched on this, and I thought it was extremely mature for a fucking 19-year-old come into the draft. He said that he didn't take good enough care of himself off the court. He was eating too much pizzas, too much fast food, which was fucking up his stamina, his endurance late in games, which causes people to miss shots and stuff like that.
College food, dude.
Yeah, he
got
got that.
The college meal plan. The college
He's
meal
over there
plan,
at the SC.
Yep, the student. Yes,
Yeah,
the student union
cafeteria.
Student
fucking
cafeteria, swiping his card 3-4 times a day.
bringing
Getting all of his friends in.
Yeah,
Yep.
like Dan used to do for me in college.
Oh, good times though.
Yeah.
but
We all did it. We all did it.
It'll catch up to you, and you don't even realize it, man.
So I think if he goes to a team that has a leader on the team, where he can be like the second guy in a year or two, and he's gonna be on NBA training, NBA meal plans. I would have liked to see him be a Laker. That's for fucking sure.
I think that
That's totally out of the question now. It's totally out of the question.
Oh, yeah, it's impossible
It's
now.
impossible for that to happen.
What are you gonna trade? Mo Wagner?
No, we're not.
Hard pass.
And then last guy I was going to bring up that I've done a little research into that I like. International guy. I don't know how to say his name properly. It's a Giga Bayada.
We do need to talk about him.
From Congo?
No, Georgian. He's from, I don't know.
He's the dude that was posted. They posted a picture of him at the media day sitting next to Zion,
and he was getting
Zion,
nobody.
Zion had like 50 reporters around his table, and he
Yeah, I
was
saw
sitting next to
that.
him looking. And he had nobody. We'll put it right up right here, and I think
D-Wade.
It was D-Wade and Draymond both
commented on him and told him. I think Draymond or D-Wade. One of them told him to frame the picture and look at it every day.
That was Draymond, and Dwayne Wade told him to use it as fuel.
Yep. I think that's great that NBA players have this platform that they can reach out to guys that are coming up.
And
This is
man-
the opposite of what Antonio Brown did, by the way.
I tell you, man, when things like this happen, those are the players that become dudes. When something like, I'll go back to 2003 NFL draft. You don't think Aaron Rodgers has used that draft day experience as the reason for his entire career, whether you like him or dislike him?
Yeah, it's the reason Mike
as a
McCarthy got
person.
fired. It was 16 years ago.
Like, you don't tell me that Aaron Rodgers has become that player today that he is, and that mentality of fuck you, I'm going to be the best person here because he dropped it. Was it 23?
Dropped at 24
think
and
that-
then had to ride Pine for 4
I
years.
think that a lot of that plays a factor into it. A lot
And
of it.
I
does.
think that this
But-
kid's got some skills, man. If you've watched his
But
highlight
are
tape,
you going to dig in? Are you going to grow up? Are you going to? I don't know anything about him.
His personality
I don't know
obviously
anything
comes
about,
into play.
about that. But
Yeah, I don't speak in clicks.
if
myself.
you using this for fuel is something that he has to do. I mean, he's projected as a first round pick. So
He is. Mid-first round they got him
Yeah,
at.
I mean, even if it's the same situation. If he falls to a team, the longer he falls in that first round, the better situation he's most likely going to run into. That's the thing that helps NBA rookies more than anything is going to a place where you don't have to get thrust into
A starting spot right
situation
away.
It helps your growth so much more. It happens to football in a different way.
Yeah.
But these teams that are heavy at the back end of the first round, guys like that can come in and make a big difference.
Yeah, he's 7 foot. He's got great ball handling skills. His jumper looks pretty smooth from outside. He can hit the three.
For being as big as he kind of reminds me of, let's see if I get the name right. Was it Michael Porter, the one from the Nuggets? Is
Yeah,
that the one? Okay.
Michael Porter.
He reminds me a bit of him with a little bit more spring in his step.
Yep.
He's very athletic, point forward, kind of can shoot it. Like
Michael Porter went 10 last year, right?
14.
14. This guy's probably
Bulls
gonna
balked at 8.
Yeah,
I was mad.
Yeah. I thought 100% they were taking
but
him.
you understand why they didn't.
Because you're not
medical
getting
stuff.
him year one, but they'd probably be picking number 1 if they would have took him. Because they would have had another guy they couldn't use.
Not in this draft lottery.
Nah, this draft lottery was set in stone about 3 days
Like,
before
I-
the lottery balls
Yeah,
bounced.
get
right. Everybody thought like the Knicks were so disappointed they didn't get the number 1 pick. Like you had a fucking 14%
14%.
chance. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I get why the new draft lottery is the way it is, and there's a side of me that likes it. I think maybe I'll like it more later on down the line. It's just that the Bulls have been screwed so hard.
Well, so
Obviously,
like
this last year,
your own personal thing is having you weigh differently, like having it weighed differently than seeing it from
The NBA's tired of people selling 40 games a year.
Yeah,
it creates more
it
parity.
does. It definitely gets rid of the tanking. It does.
Because you have no incentive to.
But
whether
what-
you're third,
Lakers
third
were
worst or
going
first-
for it, and they fucking got the number 4 pick this year.
Like,
Like-
my question is, what happens in the instance of like the situation the Bulls are in? Now, this is obviously a homerism, right? Because that's my team. But It's going to help the tanking because they've lowered the percentages for all 14 teams now. So anybody can. You've seen it this year. 3 of the top 4 teams dropped out of the top 4. Knicks were the only one that stayed in there. What happens when you're in a situation like the Bulls, who have been really fucking bad? Can you name me anybody on the Bulls that's not named Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, or Wendell Carter Jr. or Chris Dunn?
I was gonna say Chris Dunn. Well, they just traded him. Didn't
No, but they want to get rid of him.
I mean, I know those guys. I know the guys. That
Denzel Valentine.
Okay.
Is he still on the team?
He was hurt all last year. I mean, we have a decent little core with Zach and Lauri and Wendell.
I understand what you're saying. You're stuck in that from Phoenix Suns from 2010 to 2009, where you're not the worst team in the league, to where you can get a huge pick, but you're not so shitty that you're 2 spots out of the playoffs every year.
The issue that the Bulls are always going to have is that MJ shadow. Like any superstar going there is going to have the overshadow and constant comparisons to Michael Jordan.
I mean, there's some truth to that, but that's why we need the draft. This is the 3rd year in a row that we're picking at 7. We've fallen back. I believe I know the last 2 for sure. I don't remember if the first year that when we got Lauri was 2 years ago. The first time we picked at 7, we were supposed to be in the top we were supposed to be 4 this year, possibly top 3, and we dropped to 7. Last year we were supposed to be 5 or 6, dropped to 7. I get you don't want teams to tank, but what happens if the team that's just not very good
they're
isn't getting top picks to have that star caliber player that could bring a superstar in?
It's on that team to develop better internally the other 11 months of the year.
It's also not fucking socialism, dude. You have to fucking draft good. You have to pick the right guys. You have to recruit in free agency.
You've got to improve.
You have to do shit yourself. So you can't just rely on the league to give me a above mediocre team. It doesn't work that way.
No, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think the Bulls actually, I mean, granted, I'm all for fire Gar Pax 100%, but I think they've been a terrible front office. But they've actually hit on the draft probably the last 2 years with Lauri. I mean, Markkanen.
I like Markkanen a lot. I'm high on him.
And Carter as
real
well.
good, and Wendell Carter Jr. looks really good. But outside of that, and
I
Zach
got
LaVine,
another one. Otto Porter.
Oh yeah, we did get Otto Porter, who actually played fairly well. I'm not a huge fan of the
how much
trade,
better
but
of a team do you want to get given, basically?
I'm just saying, if you're that fucking bad all the time, you should get a top pick and stop falling to 7.
Then they shouldn't have voted to change the lottery.
Well, I'm like 7's not even that trash though. You guys have picked what 10 top 10 4 years in a row now, 5 years in a row,
something like that.
Okay, you should be able to.
Y'all got to hit on some picks. There's some super picks that come after that. Fucking
it's about
wasn't Kawhi after 10?
Kawhi was 13.
Giannis was 15.
Those
Those
are
are specific gems, but
Joker was 2nd round. I mean, there's guys.
There's always guys. We had Jimmy. We did draft Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
second round.
You got Jimmy
Or
Butler.
30th,
So, I mean, you've had 3 superstars in the past 10 years.
What was the return for Jimmy Butler?
Fuck, I don't remember anymore. We traded him to Minnesota.
For Zach LaVine and fucking...
Yeah, it was LaVine and something else, I think.
LaVine and 2 picks
Maybe
or something
was
like
it
that?
Chris Dunn?
LaVine, Chris Dunn, and a pick for Jimmy.
I didn't like that.
I don't know that you guys won that unless that pick was Markkanen or something.
No, that pick was, I think, Wendell Carter Jr.
So then you guys won that trade. Good job. That's what you're supposed to do.
But I mean, the Bulls are in a special situation for a lot of reasons. They had the point guard of the century, and he had the perpetual injury problems. Yep. Then you got his fucking, the potential best backcourt in basketball with him and Jimmy in their primes. And that didn't work out, obviously. So I mean, how much can the league really? I'm saying, how much can the league really protect you? That you got 2 star players. Phoenix hasn't seen one besides Devin Booker since Steve Nash left. I mean.
But I mean, some could argue that we haven't, other than Derrick Rose, we haven't had a real star player since Jordan left.
Well, and you got to have the balls to hemorrhage your team for a guy that you can go all in on. If you would have traded your next 5 years of picks for Luka, how different is your team?
Oh, I would have fucking done it.
You see what I'm saying?
Being a Bulls fan has actually probably been fairly rough. Rough roads since 2000. The Bulls were fucking trash throughout the entire early 2000s, mid 2000s until Rose was drafted. We were supposed to, and a lot of it's been real bad luck because we drafted Jay Will. We were supposed to get Jay Will. We drafted him 2nd in 2001, 2002.
Motorcycle, yeah.
And the motorcycle accident happened, and
he won Rookie of the Year before you heard, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Rookie of the Year, then year 2 it was though.
I believe so.
I believe that's what it was. And so we lost.
Did you guys draft? No, that was after the fact. Elton Brand.
Yeah.
You drafted him?
I believe so.
But I mean, just he
was a number 1 overall pick as well.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, 6 years ago they had Rose, Butler, Dang,
Noah,
Tosh. I mean,
From 2000, the Bulls were bad from 2000 to 2007. Then from 2008 to 2011, they were really good. And then since 2012, they had a couple decent years through Rose's injury-prone years with Jimmy Butler coming up, but they weren't.
I know we're
great
about to
enough.
move on. The one other big Chicago specifically, no free agent wants to live there.
It's just terrible. It's a
You know,
great.
like-
It's a great city to live in. 3 months out of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
I was watching the Cubs Sox play game yesterday.
Right now
and-
it's great.
And it wasn't. It was fucking raining. And
Really?
you could see their breath in June.
Yikes.
It looked fucking miserable.
It's a little bit of luck, absolutely, to get the Draymond Greens, to get the like even Kuzma, dude. Like, if you guys take a guy like Kuzma at 15, it's a different outlook. It's just you got to take the right guy.
We've lost.
You can't draft Denzel Valentine.
Yeah, you can't get enamored with triple doubles, which is the fakest fucking stat ever.
It is.
Like,
It's just when you lose 75% of your games in 3 years, and we have yet to pick in the top 5.
yeah, I'm with you on that.
It's like eventually,
there's
like
just
it's like
nothing you can do about
you
it.
gotta get in there one time, man.
That's why. Well, hopefully they have the money to where they can go after somebody here.
I'm
pretty
hoping
soon.
I'm hoping today they trade up to get Garland. That's who I want. I think they can trade Chris Dunn out of there, get something for him, and let Garland come in and be the point guard because Chris Dunn's experiments, it's over.
If I'm an NBA team, I'm not trading my pick. That's going to be Darius Garland for Chris Dunn.
No, I'm not saying trade Dunn for the pick. I don't know what they would have to do to move up to get.
You trade Dunn in 7 to go up.
Well, it depends on where
He could
people
be
think
there at
Darius
7.
Garland exactly is.
You're
Where
not
do you think
supposed to
Darius
give-
Garland's going to go?
Take Cam Reddish.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I would
why
like
are you
Cam
going to
Reddish,
give up
but-
another guy that Cam Reddish could actually excel playing with just to get up and get a guy that we still don't know
The problem is if we did draft Reddish, where do we put him?
on the floor in the corner?
In this positionless league, where's he gonna go?
Yeah, like, what kind of question is that?
He's technically a forward.
I think he's a
He's a 2-3.
3 and D.
He's a
2,
2-3.
2, 3. He'd be a 2 on the Lakers for sure.
So we're putting Zach LaVine at point.
Yeah, I mean he ran it most of last year, didn't he?
Chris Dunn did, and Cameron Payne back up. I mean, Zach LaVine,
He
touches
was the
ball,
primary
but-
ball handler. That's more what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at a situation where they've got a center, they've got a power forward, they've got a 3, they've got a 2, and they've got a 1. So, I mean, who's going to be the 6th man? If you get Garland in there, Garland's probably going to come off the bench with that team.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's going to be
Chris
interesting to see
Dunn
what
moved
happens.
to the
But
bench.
so we
in time, I think.
we hit some bull stuff. What about Lakers?
Yeah, that's about as much bull stuff as I can handle.
And only one reference of Michael Jordan, and it was me.
Oh, Lakers.
I'm shook.
A lot of good, a lot of bad.
Mostly bad. Rob Pelinka did not do his due diligence prior to signing off on this Anthony Davis trade, and then called the Pelicans back and begged and pleaded for them to amend this deal.
It makes 0 sense for the Pelicans to renege on this deal.
Not even renege, just push the date back. I know none. All it does
It's
is
going to
hurt
cost them $5 million.
and their guy won't be in before.
Anthony Davis
Summer
already
League.
did come out and say, right, that he's not declining that that bonus
and
money.
he's not going to turn that down.
He's-
They didn't even ask him to turn it down either.
Him and LeBron are talking privately about that right now. Briefcase might solve all these problems. Because difference between 20 and 24 is a big fucking deal. What's the number? 22 right now? So between
No, they're at 23.7.
so 23.7 and 27.7 is a big fucking deal.
Yep.
Because you can convince a Kemba to take a couple million less to win a chip. Like you can make that pitch to people.
You can't make the $23 million
You
pitch.
can't make the no. You're fucking with their money too much.
You're already fucking with their money.
Yeah, like
So now essentially they're shopping the bums of their roster.
yeah, they're trying to
Wagner, Bonga, and the other dude that didn't even run last year. The only 3
Yeah.
guys that they have. They're trying to shop those guys to like so they want somebody to take them.
looks like Jello Ball's not going to be in summer league with the Lakers.
No, probably not.
Probably, definitely. Not.
Even though, can we possibly say that if Lonzo was on the team and all this fucking complete, like if they got rid of everybody and they had right now LeBron, AD, and Lonzo, I would say that's probably the best situation for Jello to actually have gotten picked up for
I
a
said
fucking
that we needed him
team.
last year. We need a corner 3-point shooter. Fuck, dude. Like that's literally all they needed.
Dude, I felt like he could be a bully on some of these 2s and 3s in the league.
I don't know about
You don't think he'd
threes.
fuck up DeRozan?
I think he's too short but he couldn't guard him though.
You don't think he could guard DeRozan?
No.
I said from the beginning I thought Jello would actually end up being the best of the 3. Obviously, I've been proven wrong on
Tight
that.
end.
But that
He's
was
still
in
got the chance
football.
still got a chance for a tight end.
Dude, his fucking
Melo's the truth, dude. Hate to
His,
be the bearer of bad news. He's fucking
his
awesome.
workout though, God, it was fucking horrendous.
Dude,
Talk about blowing the big one.
He shouldn't have even been there. He was 3 weeks off of ankle surgery. That was a mistake.
Who was?
Jello.
When was that?
Last year's
sometime.
combine.
Oh God, it was horrendous, bro. It
I mean, he did
terrible.
have one point where he hit like 33s in a row. Like, so the jumper's there. It's just he wasn't ready athletically for that.
He's one of those guys that I think that when the lights come on
He's a gamer.
He's a dog. Like kind of like how I talk about Dak. Like when the lights come on, they just are going to play and they're going to win. That's kind of what I got. The vibe I got from him when
You forced JD to drink. Look what you did.
When the lights come on, Dak still can't complete a pass over 30 yards. Do you see how they beat the Eagles this year?
I think he's won more playoff games than Romo at this point.
Maybe, but you can make the argument if Tony was on any of these teams with Zeke, that it would be pretty fucking impressive. If I mean, he had DeMarco in that same O-line, and they went to the NFC Championship. So
DeMarco cost them that game over Dez.
it's a different tangent. That's a little deep. Dez didn't catch it, by the way.
Were you gonna bring up the Amari Cooper bobble catch?
Yeah,
for the win?
it hit the Eagles guy in the back, popped up. Amari catches it, scores a touchdown. Cowboys win. Dak's a gamer. Like,
I mean, I've been saying
Threw
that
a big
since
six.
I've been saying that since he was at Mississippi State. But
God.
I was trying to use that as an example, just to allude to
Dak Prescott equals Jello ball. Facts.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a fair assessment.
I mean, they look like brothers, kind of. Like they got that same like.
Can we put a fucking comparison?
Yeah,
right
let's
here?
get a husky build. Back when Dak had hair.
It's like 10 years ago.
We haven't said one thing about free agency.
I know. Well,
You would think we fucking finished that battle E and J before we got on.
No, it just gives me confidence.
that and the sunglasses.
But I mean, that's a decent. I mean, technically, we're kind of talking free agency. Jello would be a free agent, essentially.
I think he actually re-entered the draft.
Yeah, I think he's.
Oh, did he
eligible to
really?
be
I think
drafted.
he's hoping to get picked in the late second.
I'll shit myself. If
Two
he
other
does.
guys that are in the draft that did not go back are Tyus Battle and O'Shea Brissett from Syracuse. Everybody's talking about those guys going back, but the fact that they stayed in tells me that teams have promised that they're going to take both those guys. Which
Cool. Good for them, dude.
Throw it in there.
I mean, in worst case, I think Jello's just going to go play with Melo in Australia. I mean, like that's probably what happens if he doesn't get picked up. So
Yeah.
hopefully they ball together and he gets a shot somewhere else.
So with the draft ending,
I'd like to have Melo be the point guard of the Lakers right now.
that's going
Fuck.
to really, really, kind of cement what these teams are looking for with their free agents and where we're going to see the money go specifically.
We got way off. Pelinka fucked us.
Yeah.
Big time. Like,
Pelinka-
read the fine print, Rob.
How are you a GM of a team and you don't know the legalities and what's going to happen after you make a trade at a certain point?
Where's
in
the
time?
numbers guy?
Yeah,
The numbers
I know
like,
they
hey,
have
wait
one.
till the 30. Yeah, every team has one. They have the accountant who budgets the salary cap.
How was
like,
that dude not in the room when
They have the Jonah Hill from Moneyball.
Yeah, exactly. And these are things that you pre-negotiate. They were so scared the Celtics were going to swoop in and give up Tatum and Brown and whoever the fuck to make this deal happen that they pulled the trigger on it early. They mismanaged it last year 100%. Then they did the same exact thing right now. We got AD. That's fantastic. Stoked about that. Sucks Lonzo's leaving, whatever. But you got to pre-negotiate. The trade can't go through till the 30th. This is the deal.
There should be stipulations in writing.
Stipulation in the deal. The deal's done, but the deal's not going through till the 30th. We'll draft the guy you want. We'll fucking give him to you on a silver platter. We just need the money.
Yeah, but I think now
It's a lateral move.
Long term, it opens up a little bit more money for the Lakers. However, the future free agent classes are not like this one.
Yeah, and
Beyond that,
it's
it's
not
the
gonna-
LeBron's getting older.
The LeBron window.
LeBron's window too. Like Pelinka totally fucked this off.
I mean, it's going to be real interesting here in a couple years. Like LeBron, was he 35?
He'll be 35 in December.
Like, I mean, granted, he's probably still got 5-6 more years, but I mean, think about how fast the first fucking, how many years he been in here now? 16? This will be year 16. Like, he's been in the league for 15 years already.
This will be 17, I think.
Like, that's insanity to think about when, I remember clear as day watching LeBron come in out of high school. Like, he's only got a couple years left. That's going to be insane in the NBA.
Yeah, it's going to be a very sad day for me personally. That when LeBron's done playing basketball, I'm like, wow.
Well, then we just move on to movies.
Yeah, and then I'm out. As soon as Brady is out, I'm done with the NFL. Alex is gone. Yeah. Ugh.
But
Go ahead, Dan.
Pelinka, yeah, terrible, absolutely terrible. I would say it's the worst GM move that I've seen in recent years in any sport that I could think of.
I got two other ones.
The Grizzlies trading Pau Gasol at that time was pretty bad, but
That was bad.
No, dude.
It
There's
wasn't
way worse,
this bad.
more recently even.
What's yours?
I mean, I don't know. The GM for the Sixers had a burner account on Instagram last year and got fired. The fucking guy for the Pelicans declined the greatest trade of all time for Anthony Davis at midseason last year.
got fired.
Got fired immediately.
So should Pelinka be fired?
Probably.
I
don't think he's not going to
That's
be
the
fired.
outcome of both of those.
If he wasn't like part of the Laker love triangle thing, like he would have been gone. He's Kobe's guy. You know, that's why Jeannie doesn't want to get rid of Luke. So, I mean, Magic's out of here. Luke's out of here now. Like, it's these Laker guys get every opportunity to stick around. So we get 3 more years of this Pelinka bullshit at least. And if they win a champion, he's gonna look like a genius.
Yeah, everybody
and
forgets
get credit
about it
for
if
it.
that happens.
Yeah. So there's that.
But so let's talk figuratively right now. Let's say that this was it $24 million in cap space that they have.
Yep.
Let's say that is the
That's all
finite.
they got.
That's it. That's what happens. Come July 6th, the trade goes through, and the Pelicans say, "No, sorry, you should have fucking known what the hell you were doing." We've got tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 free agents on the board.
Tier 1 is off. Top 5 guys on tier 2 are off.
Yeah. So
With that money.
the guys that will not be in LA are
KD, Kawhi, Kyrie, Clay.
None of them.
Jimmy, Boogie, Kemba, Tobias, and we can go as far down as Vucevic.
See, but
Vucevic will not
Jimmy
be
is
down
one of
either.
those guys though that could. Jimmy's weird.
Well, I
you
mean-
know this.
Right.
Jimmy might take a $23 million
So-
salary.
Do something stupid.
guess-
He would do something weird like
so
that.
guess what? They're going to pick up the phone and call. They're still going to pick up the phone and call Kawhi.
They're gonna call every single one of these
They're still
guys.
going to call Kyrie. They're still going to call Jimmy. They're still
Who
going
can
to
take the
call
hometown
these
to
guys.
this town?
I don't-
But that's
they
not what
say
we're talking.
Kyrie.
Kawhi or Kyrie?
Kawhi.
Kawhi, right.
Kawhi.
It's the number tier 1 is all K's. It's messing me up. But they said Kawhi's not even taking Lakers calls. It's Clippers or Raptors, and that's it.
That's what. Yeah, he was unsure if he was even going to take their call at this point. It's the last thing I saw.
so-
But they're still going to pick up the phone and call. You have to. Beyond that, we're looking down here with $24 million. I think this is pre mid-level exception. So the mid-level exception happens after you use your $24 million.
Yeah. So what are the requirements for that? How many years of 7-year vet?
Yeah,
plus?
you've got to be in the league for like 6 or 7 years, and then that's it.
So Redick and Ariza could qualify for that.
Yeah,
Potentially.
both
so,
of them.
So if you were to sign somebody bigger, like if you could convince Kimba to take 23 for the first year,
yeah, then
or-
you could get
you
like
could
then
use
you
the
could get
mid-level-
Ariza, Danny Green, and
Redick.
Brooke Lopez on a MLB.
Okay, see?
Brooke's probably going to take
'Cause
25 somewhere else.
The
but
mid-level doesn't affect your cap, correct?
no, it's after the fact. So
So it's like once your cap is maxed, then that's when they like the Heat, for example, they brought in the Ray Allen
mid-level exception. Mike
mid-level
Miller,
exception. Well, Mike signed a normal deal.
did he? Oh, there's other guys.
He was
that
the
did too.
4th signing when they did like Big 3 signed those
Yeah.
163s or whatever, and then he signed like a couple of days after that.
Gotcha. So for the Lakers specifically, I think that Ariza is most likely going to land. Redick probably deserves more than they can afford to give him.
Well, I mean,
But he doesn't have a chip.
But he made the 23 2 years ago. He took the $11 million pay cut this year. I think he made 14, 12, something like that. So, I mean, we're still talking 12 and 10 is 22. I mean,
Here's what I would say. Go down that tier 2 list and put a check mark next to every single name that does not have a championship ring. And that's the first thing
Yeah.
you say when you call him up on the phone.
It's everyone but Danny Green.
I mean, Al Horford's taking that call.
They're going to go after Al Horford as well.
I mean, they got
Harrison
it, right?
Barnes has a ring, doesn't he?
Is he on
He's
that
got
list?
2. No, one.
Yeah, I
one.
didn't see him on. I thought that was Matt Barnes.
He's gonna
He's got rings too, unfortunately.
Harrison Barnes is gonna take a big deal somewhere.
Yeah, he's already got,
And
he's already got it.
I don't. He's not a good fit for the Lakers.
No, I
anyway.
wouldn't say
we
no.
need,
They need-
shooters.
They need like here. These are what the Lakers are looking at: Caldwell Pope, Patrick Beverly, Darren Collison, Danny Green, Bogdanovich, who's my dark horse,
I would love that to happen.
Mirotic,
would like that.
Middleton's going to take more money elsewhere, so no.
Yeah.
Reddick or Ariza. Those are the types of guys that are going to help them.
I think Carmelo's a foregone conclusion. I think Carmelo's going to be the sixth man
They
guaranteed.
need to land a point guard.
And that's what I was going to say to you, though, is I think that your focus as a Laker person, if I was in that GM room, their focus on this tier 2, if their board looks like our board looks, I wouldn't try to focus necessarily on tier 2 players being your mid-level exception guys. I would say you can get
those are the
one
you need
or two of
you
those
need
guys
two
with cap
you need two
space.
of those guys with cap space.
And then your tier 3 guys, your Mellos, Rudy Gay maybe, Rubio.
Well, because the Jazz
your mid-level
the
exception
Jazz
guys.
just traded for Mike Conley, so maybe Rubio takes an MLE and comes and plays point guard.
I could see that.
I would love that.
Yeah.
He'd be a very good
I think
guy
that would
for
go well with LeBron.
I do too. So where do we think these bigger ticket guys are going to end up then? Let's do that.
Well, it was reported today. 2 reports came out now about KD. First one being that there is talks about him re-signing a max deal with the Warriors, and then that being involved in a sign and trade with the Knicks.
For the house?
I would essentially. They didn't name any names, but you would assume.
You'd have to at least send RJ and Kevin Knox. I would like
You would
those.
assume
You'd
it
have
has
to
to be
send those
everybody.
two. Who else is in the house?
Yeah. I mean,
Frank.
well, and then what they
Tim
just built,
Hardaway
they just
still there?
they just no.
Where's he at now?
He was in that
Atlanta?
Dennis Smith trade. No, he's in Dallas.
Oh, you're right. He was part of that trade.
Yeah.
Atlanta, New York, Dallas.
Well, and how about this? Brooklyn says that they don't even want Kyrie if he's by himself
Yeah, that came out today too.
because they don't want to turn their back on D'Angelo.
I wouldn't want him by himself either.
I mean, if you're going to pay 2 guys the same money, D'Angelo Russell and Kyrie are going to make the same money on this next deal. I'll take Kyrie.
I'd take Kyrie.
So there's that.
I mean,
I'd take Kyrie. In
how
Chicago
much better
right now
is
by
that?
himself.
How much better is that team going to be with swapping?
I mean, that's not
D'Angelo. Long term wise, I think D'Angelo makes more sense for the Nets if you don't get KD.
Is D'Angelo? Are we considering him top tier now? He had one good season.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's unrestricted. He's not on this list. He's got to be right under Clay, above Jimmy.
Well, that's what they're saying because that's the predicament the Nets are in. If they want 2 max players, they have to just straight up cut D'Angelo Russell. They can't keep. There's no mathematical way where it works where they keep him. So they have to waive him.
I don't think that's gonna even. I don't think that's in the realm at all. Just because
No.
now with what we're seeing about KD, I mean, it was a foregone conclusion with the torn Achilles that he was going to re-up on that player option.
Well, and how fucked up is this? Once I heard this shit from Brooklyn, I'm like, fantastic. Kyrie's for sure going to the Lakers.
Now
we don't got the money for him.
But here's the second thing that came.
Rob,
So stupid.
Here's the second thing that came out about that whole KD situation, and this goes to what we talked about before. We said I think everybody in America thought the same thing when KD went down with the official Achilles injury, which was he's going to take the player option, he's going to stay in Golden State, and that's going to be that.
opt in, take a check, and get better for a year.
Jay Williams has come out and said that he knows for sure, and he's been if you follow Jay Williams at all, he's been right on a couple of different things.
Big fan.
He came out and said that he's good friends with Kevin Durant, and he apparently has somebody that's a good friend in Golden
his
State
camp?
too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he was the one that came out first and said KD's going to play in Game 5, and of course KD played in Game 5. He came out and said it was either yesterday or today that Golden State purposely misdiagnosed Kevin Durant in order to get him to come out and play.
That they should be sued for $1 billion for
They should
detriment.
have to move their franchise. They should have to close the new stadium
For
if
a
they do that. We're talking about-
detriment to my lifetime earnings, and I already make about probably about 70 a year with all the endorsement deals with Nike and whatever commercials and the 2K deal, whatever it is. We're talking what, $1 billion future earnings?
Easily. I want to find his exact quote just so I don't.
No, but because
misquote it.
we had said, dude,
if that's
everyone that knows shit about injuries in sports was like, yeah, he
Achilles.
tore his Achilles.
instantly.
Yeah,
the first
everybody
time.
said it. Everybody did.
So how could they not?
So
How could
like
they
the
not
question
know?
is, did they lie to him, or did he willing? Or
I think they were under. It was everyone was in cahoots.
see that's a different
That's
situation.
fair.
That's absolutely.
But the Warriors should still be penalized for that if that were to come out. But it's not the same
only
level.
only for lying to the media or whatever.
right.
But like if KD's in cahoots with them, that's a whole different thing.
I think that it has to be that
But
way.
if KD's lied to, on the other hand, then KD has every
he
right.
should own that franchise.
Yes, Oracle.
It's closing. The new one?
The new
It
Oracle
should be called Durant Arena.
Kevin Durant Arena. Yes.
This is the exact quote that Jay Will said on his, I think it's Get Up on ESPN.
Yep.
It's this show. Ultimately, I think this falls on the Golden State Warriors. He got misdiagnosed. He got misdiagnosed, and I know for a fact he was told that with a torn calf, a partially torn calf, that it unloaded the pressure on the Achilles and that there was no chance that the Achilles could be injured at all. And for that to happen in the first half of a ball game, I think I can't even fathom that.
Yeah. It's not a coincidence, people.
No, it's not. He had...
Either they were in
It wasn't
cahoots or they lied to him.
it was
Either way, the
122.
Warriors fucked up.
Can we roll the clip from last time when I was here?
For real. Just pop it back up on the screen.
Fuck, man.
So, I mean, we talked about KD staying, but if KD does not trust the Warriors organization, especially with that coming out and him being friends with Jay Will and Jay Will apparently having somebody in camp in Golden State leaking him this information.
And Supermax trade to the Knicks makes sense.
It
Well,
does.
there's also a lot to be said for, listen, he knows he's out for an entire year, right? From here to then, it's going to be an entire year. If he was in cahoots with Golden State, sometimes you need to be around familiarity. You need to be around your family, your people you've been with for the past few years. New situation, the anticipation of when's KD going to play, when's KD. That stuff is not there if you're in Golden State.
No, that's true.
So, like...
I hope he was in cahoots with them, man.
Yeah, if
for the player Kevin Durant, I pray to God that he was in cahoots. Man. Please, God.
We hate on a lot of people, but we don't ever wish stuff like this to happen to people ever. And like all three of us, we've had those kind of injuries playing sports. They're devastating.
It makes me sick to think.
Could you
that
imagine
they lied
having
to him.
your injury in your contract year for a three-peat? Like, fuck you, man.
I can't.
I would have tried to play, and that would have been that.
I'm sure,
and I wouldn't have been able to.
But imagine your organization lied to you and sent you out there with 3 wheels instead of 4. Dude,
I could speak on a person. I'm sure that each of you have some type of story where you could do the exact same thing where you were misdiagnosed, whether it was purposely or not.
Oh, yeah.
When I hurt my leg, they told me that I had a fucking... you pulled a muscle, you'll be fine. Just stay off it for a week, it'll be okay. Week went by, came back out, did a little light practice, hurt it again. I played for 16 games, and they kept telling me it's going to be fine, it's going to heal, it's going to do this. I finally went to the UNLV when I came back to Vegas after that year ended. Went to the UNLV sports doctor, their head trainer guy, and he's like, dude, you have like a terribly bad grade 2 tear in your quad that has so much scar tissue built up on it because you used it for so long without letting it heal.
Okay, so think about
But
that
it's
quantum
never going to
leap.
be the same.
Think about that quantum leap from Division II misdiagnosis. D1 gets it right. Imagine what the fuck the Golden State Warriors medical staff is. They know what's up.
Bro, and the,
100%.
And mine
the
meant
media,
nothing.
the media was swirling around this. There's no way they didn't look and go, "Oh, this is a torn Achilles," but we're gonna tell them it's a calf.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no fucking.
Yeah,
way.
we need
There is
that. We
no
need your
fuck-
5 buckets in the second
There's
quarter
no
so that we can
fucking-
lose in 6 anyway.
No way.
Like, mine was,
no way.
you
I
know,
pray not. If not, fuck the Warriors. Fuck the Warriors. Dude.
minuscule in scale to KD. Contract year.
And then,
Playoffs.
if
like,
you're Clay, if you're Curry, if you're Draymond, how does this not affect your re-signing in the future?
would you want to stay in an
Would you want to
organization
be
that
on
lies
a
to
yeah?
you?
Come on down.
You're
Clay.
gonna
Come
send
on down.
the second best player for the past decade out there on a torn Achilles. What the fuck are they gonna do to Clay?
But
what the
look-
fuck are they gonna do to Draymond?
They put him out there on a torn hammy.
What
That's what I'm
happened?
saying.
But look at. I mean, we're not even bringing up yet the other example. What is literally an example of the same exact thing from last year, or 2 years? Started 2 years ago and then went through
Curry's
last year.
meniscus or whatever.
No, he won a championship this year. Kawhi in San Antonio. The reason he left, the reason he didn't want to be there anymore, is because he got tired of the medical staff and the medical staff.
Yeah.
He didn't trust them anymore.
What if this wakes up all 4 of them and all 4 of them are gone next year? Steph renegotiates in 2 years. Draymond's out next year. Clay's out this year. KD's out this year. All 4 of them could potentially be gone in 24 months.
I never said a bad word about Kawhi sitting out last year when all of his teammates started clamoring and the coaches started clamoring and if you are hurt and you know that you are not right, don't fucking play. Don't listen to your medical staff.
We've all come back.
Money.
We've all come back too early, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I know my sophomore season playing football, I blew my shoulder out. I didn't feel like myself till about week 6. I shouldn't have been playing till week 6 if I didn't feel ready. Like, it doesn't matter if they tell you you're structurally okay. You have to be able to trust yourself so that you're not in your head on every single possession, every single play.
Because that slows you down.
It does. And it makes you more susceptible to what?
More injuries.
Injuries.
There you
Playing
go.
scared.
Grade 2 tear in my left quad. That's an injury that should take about 8 to 12 weeks to heal normally. That's what LeBron had in his groin. It's what baseball players, football players, they get them all the time. If it's a
Peyton
grade
Manning
2,
had it during that Super Bowl run against the Panthers.
if it's a grade 2, normally it's an 8 to 12 week injury to heal. I fucked it up so bad by playing on it and being misdiagnosed that it took me an entire year to play on it again.
Okay, so with the free agency pending now, I got a question for you two guys then. What is the incentive for any NBA team to offer KD max money?
I don't think there is one.
I mean, like, if you're the Knicks and your franchise is on the cusp of being eternal nothingness,
That's why. Because you have.
are you still going to go throw $35 million at a guy? No person has ever come back from this injury being the same guy.
They don't have a choice.
I think they do because
think they definitely
he brings up eternal nothingness, and you're pitting yourself deeper into that to despair because you're going to give him $35 million for not the same player.
Or you're going to, or what, you're going to split that 35 up and give it to motherfucking Felton and fucking Rudy Gay and those guys and Carmelo's going to come back.
I mean,
those guys going to fucking help you?
I think they got a decent piece in Kevin Knox to build around right now. I think that they can go and get
Dennis
some of these
Smith's a solid player. I mean, they've got a 2 and a 3.
I think they can go out and get a couple of these tier 2 guys, and they can make a run at it. With the
how
money
bad is Dennis Smith, Kevin Knox, Kyrie, DeAndre Jordan? Like, really, how bad of a foursome is that? Like, it's not that bad. That's
and
probably
especially in the East too.
That's
right?
probably a
Bringing that
7
up.
seed. It's probably a 7 seed.
Yeah, but Kyrie's not going to go there.
I think you would still.
I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is if you can pull off one guy who's decent, whether it's Butler, fucking Boogie, fucking anybody,
Then you do that over KD?
Yeah, I think so.
I would. I can't.
The history of the injury there's just
I
nobody comes back to say.
I just don't see anybody else for the exact same reasons that you guys are saying about the Knicks. I don't see anybody else taking a chance on the Knicks.
so
this is like a match made in heaven for KD and the Knicks, really.
I feel you if KD's not busted. Like, you're going to.
Now, if KD's not busted, he ain't going there.
What do you mean?
He's not. If he was not busted, I think that he was going to stay in Golden State this year.
Well, I think he was guaranteed gone if he doesn't get hurt.
I think it would be I think it's more likely that he stays because he got hurt. If he was healthy, I think three-peat. You're welcome, everybody. Later.
But what about the shirts that we heard that were printed?
Yeah, I mean that's one part of it. See, like, there's little rumors like that kind of fuck with your judgment sometimes.
The T-shirt somebody in their camp leaked some information on a T-shirt.
Yeah, the Nike shirt got. It
was
basically
Nike?
It was Nike. Someone that works at Nike leaked the shirt anonymously. Those are always class individuals, but it showed every place that he's ever played. So it was like Washington D.C. It was like Austin, Texas. Then it was like Oklahoma City, and then like it goes Oakland, and then the one under and they're all crossed out, and the one underneath it went San Francisco,
Which is where the new stadium is. And that was before the injury, right?
Yeah. So there's
it was in talks. It was coming up, and
so
that
it's
got
like-
leaked right about the
it just
time he got
depends on
hurt.
how much like stock you put in those things, but like a couple times it's been right. Like LeBron James, for example, no one thought he was going back to Cleveland until it happened. Like
I did.
You might have thought, but there's like, as far as legitimately thinking that it's going down, nobody really thought that until the wallpaper got changed on LeBron's website. Someone leaked the fucking color scheme and it was wine and gold. Like, dude, he's going to Cleveland. No fucking way. Like, they changed the colors of his website.
I remember when this shit happened.
July 8th, 2015.
15?
Yeah.
No, 14.
No. It'd be 14-15 season, so 15-16 was the first year. Yeah. So the 15-16 Cleveland Cavaliers were the team that lost, right?
I could have sworn it was 14 because I was on a family vacation down fishing in Arkansas at the time, and that's when
Just back it up. This year was 18-19. Last year was year 3 of the Cavs.
It's
which
semantics.
is first year.
It's a year or two difference. 13, 14, 15.
Whatever.
Fuck.
Regardless, he went back, won a championship, 3-1.
Yeah,
So-
down 3-1 against these fucking Warriors. God.
But do you think that those shirts would have? It's possible that they would have gotten those shirts out there as a way to try to convince Kevin Durant to stay. People do that shit all the time.
Maybe
too.
if the Warriors were pressing that stuff.
Nike doesn't have,
Or maybe they're pushing it so that the New York fan base gets pissed. Maybe there's 10 different versions of that shirt that says San Francisco, New York, says LA, says...
It's super semantic.
Yeah, I mean,
and all they have to do is edit out
there's
fucking San Francisco
one
and
fucking name at the bottom.
Put
Exactly.
New York on
so it's
there.
like they haven't printed the shirts yet.
could have just been used to
Those shirts probably out of those shirts I didn't say were printed.
Yeah, I don't think those.
The
are
John
printed
Morant
yet.
shirts were printed, bro. Telling you. And so was
by the
RJ
Memphis
Barrett today.
Grizzlies organization.
Oh man,
Believe it.
Nike printed them now.
Yeah.
That's the argument.
So what do we Kawhi then? We said that earlier. You guys said that between Toronto and Clippers, then that's it. He's not
Yeah,
getting calls.
God, I wish motherfuckers didn't have ego because the defensive setup with Kawhi, AD, and LeBron would be probably the best defensive team in the modern era. Purely defense.
I mean, it's a lot of fucking wingspan.
That is a lot of the chase down blocks. The on-ball
Dan
defense,
wonders if LeBron's going to play defense.
the rim protection. Like, man, do I need to show you Game 7 of the Finals when he did the greatest block in the history of sports?
Show this guy, not me.
What? Could you please inform the people exactly what I said?
I understand. It's his usage is so high on offense that he loafs on defense as a 36-year-old.
I said,
Yes.
as long as LeBron plays defense. I've never once questioned his ability to be the best defensive player.
I mean, I don't know.
And then 2 minutes after
I
that,
digress.
they posted, they put the picture up, and you guys seen it on the IGTV video of, they took the LeBron James, Dwayne Wade dunk, the famous photo of
The
them
Zion
two,
one, yeah.
And they photoshopped it with Zion and Lonzo with LeBron and AD in the back. I said, that'll never happen.
Well, no, it will.
He yells at me, and because I say, I'm like, LeBron, no.
Did you see the meme for that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's like, go ahead. You tell him.
Okay.
You tell him.
He goes, and with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, look at this alley-oop. Boom! The Pelicans are only down 24. I'm really excited for that Pelican squad.
I'm going to watch him.
Like, very, very excited. If they can deal this number 4 pick today for Bradley Beal.
Or just take Cam Reddish.
Or take Cam Reddish or take the kid from USC. But if they roll out Lonzo, pick any of those two guards, Zion, they just re-upped on Jahlil Okafor. They got, B.I., and the 3 first-rounders in the next 3 years, man, they're going to be fucking gross.
I said it right could happen. I think that they'll be out of the playoffs this year. I think over the course of the next 2 or 3 is when
I think
they'll start making some
they
noise.
might sneak in, maybe.
In the West?
It's tough.
That'd be
It's gonna
tough.
be
It's tough, but like as you can see, a lot of these teams are one person going down from being completely irrelevant.
Yeah, that's true.
How good is Dallas without Luka? How good is fucking Portland without
Can't
Lillard?
wait to see
How
how
good
good
Utah without Spider.
without Spider, Gobert? Like if 1 or 2 guys go down, that shit is wide open. And everyone says the West, the West, the West. I think that this is about as even as it's been in the longest
the
time.
East has improved drastically.
And if
Still
a
not
person
there.
like a KD goes back east, then it's like dead even, bro. Like top 3 for top 3, they're right there.
I would say so.
I would say it's 4 through 8 is where the
You got Giannis,
disparity happens.
Giannis, Kawhi, and who's the third in the East?
Boston with Kyrie, right?
I mean like Boston. Then if I feel bad saying this, but if the Wizards are healthy, like
Yeah.
But John Wall had it was Achilles too, wasn't it?
yeah, it's like 3 fucking years of like dude, they were the 1 seed in 2015, 2016.
That's an interesting question though. What over the course of
Fucking landscapers are here.
unbelievable.
They have no respect for our on-air sign.
Yeah. I put a
the
sock on
Wizards.
the door handle. What the fuck? You ever go to college?
But over the course of our lives, how many? Let's go pre-2015. How many Achilles injuries do you remember happening to famous players in any sport?
I mean, they happen, bro. Like
They happen.
They just don't come back. So like,
But I'm asking who?
Dominique Wilkins, Terrell Suggs. I mean, we're talking all sports here.
Yeah,
Jamal Lewis. Lot of catchers.
I'm saying that I feel like we're seeing more Achilles injuries now. They're more prevalent than they were over the course of the last 20 years.
No, I don't think so. I think it's ACLs that are up.
I think all the injuries are up because people are way more hub now.
Yep, more muscle mass.
Well, and the diagnoses are better. A lot of people just played on a lot of people played with busted knees and busted. I'm not saying Achilles specifically, but diagnosis is better now. Muscle mass is higher. Tendons are weaker. That's why you see Mark Cuban's investing in sonogram technology. He says he wants Luka and Porzingis to play 25 seasons, so they're investing in all this crazy medical tech right now that it'll be able to predict Achilles injuries before they happen because it's like they don't want the KDs of the world to be good. It's bad for the sport. It's bad for everything.
Well, and they need to figure out what the fuck's going on with all of the injury stuff. Like maybe the NBA PA needs to put together as an all-encompassing option for players to also look into so they don't have to rely strictly on their teams.
Stop finding teams for resting players.
Well, I mean, dude, yeah, but we talked about it before. Whether or not Kevin Durant went out in Game 5 or whether or not Kevin Durant went out in Game 1 of next year's season or Game 2, that was going to pop off. It was
Yeah.
So then he's in the same situation.
Preventative
anyways.
medicine is probably 10 years behind
So
where it should be.
What do you need to do in that situation for an Achilles? because there's nothing like you have to have the surgery.
Well, what they're saying is there's lots of preventative measures that you could do because it's beyond load management. There's like literal tech that makes it stronger. There's medicine that makes tendons and ligaments and stuff stronger that needs to be given the. I'm not a fucking scientist here, but this is basically the consensus, basically. And keep this in mind: injuries fucking happen. So like the goal is to prevent it as much as you can. There's no fail safe. There's no NFLPA bargaining agreement that's going to keep people from getting hurt. It's part of the sport. If you've played any sport, you're going to get hurt at some point. It's just when is it going to happen to you?
That's true. It just seems, like I said, it just seems more prevalent because you can just rattle off the names right now. John
Social
Wall,
media is
KD,
social.
DeMarcus Cousins,
Social media
Kobe.
is why that's more prevalent.
That's true too.
That's
That
why.
has
Yeah, but
a
like,
big
is
factor
Kobe
in
the
it.
same player? Was Dominique the same
No,
player?
none of them have.
No,
Is
but I will say
fucking Boogie the same
Kobe
player?
did come back at that age better than I thought he would.
Better than he. Yes, I thought he was going to be a shell of himself, but at the end of the day, that fadeaway is still unblockable, and he was so good at other parts of the game that he was able to mask. Dude, if you watch that Jazz game, he's so fucking slow.
Yeah,
He's so slow, bro. He has no lift. That dunk was
He barely
borderline embarrassing.
It was a rim grazer.
Like, yeah, Bob Cousy's thrown it down harder than that before.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just a shame, man. They don't come back from the Achilles is probably the worst injury that I could think of.
That's
now.
why it's the most fucking legendary. Achilles never came back from it, Dan. He was
Now
a
we're
Greek
getting-
god for
Now
fuck's
we're
sake.
getting into Greek mythology.
Yeah, like
If you don't know who Achilles is,
that's like Terrell Suggs did come back and win Defensive Player of the Year 2 years later, though, and Dominique did average 30 for one season, but then
I
totally
think
fell off
football's.
after that.
I think football is a little bit different than basketball, obviously.
Yeah.
And now depending on position, Terrell Suggs being an edge rusher, being a
Still takes a
defensive
decent
end.
amount of explosion, though, man.
he needs the
for edge
explosion,
rushing.
but it's not so much jumping. It's not the vertical's not the same. You don't have to worry.
Not
about
as a
that
basketball
much.
player, no. But for football, D end's about as athletic a position as you need as there is. You got to be huge. You got to carry a heavy 250, 260 frame.
You got to be
You
able to
got
move.
300 pounders pushing on you.
Yeah, that's a lot of force. That's a lot
is.
of a lot of pressure for an Achilles, man. It is. And
true.
yeah, if I'm a GM in this league that has $35 million, not spending it on Kevin Durant, not spending it on Klay Thompson, not spending it on Jimmy Butler, not spending it on Boogie. That's just off rip. So, and Kyrie's been perpetually hurt, and I'd gladly give him 30 compared to any of these guys.
It's
But he's got the same issue that all these dudes do.
if you look,
Like
through
there's
the-
not.
But
a
he's
single
healthy right
the
now.
Only,
That's the thing.
only clean one in the top 8 is Kemba.
literally, I was literally just about to say that the only guy I can think of that hasn't had some type of major injury in their career thus far. KD hurt now. Kawhi last 2 years. Kyrie fucking had a broken
Always,
kneecap.
always.
Was it ACL when he was at Duke?
We know what's going on. No, it was a shoulder, something, wrist
Shoulder.
or hand, or
He-
it was a
he-
hand. It was
Kyrie's
a-
always got a problem.
But the good thing for him is it hasn't been tendon based. It's been like fractures.
Yeah,
So
It's not as.
it's a little different, and I understand the argument. He still always had.
So a couple things that we didn't get into. We kind of went down the injury tangent, which was to be expected because that's played such a big factor.
It
in
does affect
free
all of the stuff
agency.
that's
is-
going on.
free agency was going to be the biggest free agency ever, and without Clay, without KD, and it's lost a tremendous amount of luster, to say the least.
It's a shame. But some things that have happened. We know for a fact that the Memphis Grizzlies are taking Ja Morant at number 2 because, as Chris said, they're printing jerseys.
No. They've printed them. They're done. They're not making it anymore.
They're already printed.
They printed them months ago.
I
But
kind of hope that doesn't happen, just so that way I'm wrong. You know?
but to,
I'm not, but
John Morant to the Pelicans.
yeah. Please, God.
What are we going to do with all these printed jerseys?
they're gonna be.
I wish the GM was talking to the jersey guy.
you're gonna see a bunch of African children wearing a bunch of Ja Morant jerseys.
You know how many times I've seen African children wearing Miami Heat three-peat jerseys, three-peat T-shirts.
all the time?
Yeah, I could do it. 'Cause
Well,
They
they buy
ship 'em.
both of them because the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
commercial comes on right after they win. Buy it
Well-
for the low price of $19.99. You can get your Miami Heat championship jersey now.
And they ship all the losers.
But when
off
you're
too.
playing the same team, you probably ordered a shit ton of them because it's the same squad. So you're thinking you're gonna go back, three-peat there.
Yeah, but to solidify Chris's point, whether or not the jerseys are out or not, Mike Conley has been traded. This happened yesterday morning.
Yeah.
And personally, I thought it was a really good trade for both teams.
I thought so too. little surprised. Like
I was
honestly,
surprised.
I'm high on Mike Conley, but I'm surprised that he garnered that much stuff
Nah,
for just
dude.
him.
He's like
I put him
he'd
top
be up there on the
7?
very top of tier 2 on that list.
If he was unrestricted this year,
Yeah,
I put him probably about what, 5th
he'd be
best?
right
in the
up
league?
in there where Kemba
he'd
is,
be below Kemba, but he'd be up there.
just because of his age today. But
Well, I'm saying, yeah, I think that.
in
Even
comparison,
Mike Conley 5 years ago, I think he's close to tier
yeah,
1 for
I,
sure.
I,
at the end of the sorry,
no,
I think he'll
yeah.
probably have a better. Conley's probably gonna have a better career than Kemba, aside from the college championship.
not if he goes to the Lakers and three-peats.
Lakers have to clear up $10 million.
True that.
I want them to. I really fucking want them to. I just don't know how you're gonna do it.
Look for Wagner and Bonga to get traded today.
At this point, fuck it. Might as well just,
Yeah.
just cut him.
I
You
don't
can't
know.
even cut him though.
We'll play 3-on-5. Fuck it.
I don't know who's going where, but there's going to be some interesting shit that happens tonight. I'm going to guarantee that.
I've got a little conspiracy theory for you. I think the Brotherhood's headed to LA. I really do. I think the Rockets are gonna fucking waive Chris Paul and write him a check. And I think he's gonna take that vet min.
I think
And I
that
think Carmelo's a foregone conclusion.
mid-level exception. I think that's happening. I'm happy.
And
about
I think
that.
that's a foregone
that's the
conclusion.
Brotherhood. LeBron, Carmelo,
Melo for
Chris
sure.
Paul.
Lakers make the playoffs. Melo's a Laker.
And then they bring Dwayne Wade out of retirement.
Nah, I won't take it that far, buddy. While we're at it, let's get Jesus to cure Chris Bosh's fucking blood clots, and let's get all four and roll out the starting 5 from 2007.
And then Mike Miller comes out of retirement.
Dude, Mike would thrive on this team.
Real quickly, I just want to do this.
Someone call Memphis University. Get Penny on the phone.
need
Tell him
Penny.
we
We need Penny and Memphis.
Tell him we
And
need
Mike.
Mike, dude. We
I
need
just want to
Mike.
do this real quick, but just because JD's on today, this would be JD's dream lineup today for the Lakers to roll out next year.
Let me hear it.
It would be obviously LeBron James,
I thought you were
AD
gonna go
playing
point
center.
guard.
Oh, I wasn't going to go in order, but then 2 would be Dwayne Wade. Then 3 or
3-4.
3-4 would be, what do you think? Would be Kevin Love or Bosh? Who do you think you would want more?
I think that your team is not correct. That's what I think.
At 3 or 4?
I think the guys that you're selecting are not on JD's preferred
here's
team.
the fucked up thing.
No, he wants Melo. He wants Mike Mill.
I don't.
He didn't
want,
say either of those guys.
I don't want
I
Melo.
was going to get to him.
Oh.
I do want Mike Mill bad. That dude was the number 1 recruit over at Memphis. He was balling him up yesterday at practice.
Mike Miller was.
He's 40. He's a
should've
man.
been.
1 through
He's 40.
1 through 5 and 6 man. I'd go Kyrie, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Kevin Love, AD.
Of the LeBron teammate squad.
Yeah, and then
Ooh.
Mike Mill, 6th man, and then 7th man Carmelo. That's what I think JD's perfect squad.
I wouldn't put Carmelo on there.
He'd
I
take
No.
Steve Novak
I'd-
before he took Carmelo.
pump the brakes. I would take Carmelo before Steve Novak. I'm not insane, but I would like Ray Allen above all those
Oh,
guys.
okay. I didn't think about Ray. I forgot about Ray.
Mario Chalmers is not on that team. By the
No,
way.
nor is Norris Cole.
Udonis
No, but
Haslem.
like, how difficult would it have been seriously for the Lakers to roll out this same fucking team, take Cam Reddish, and trade for Bradley Beal and just dominate next season?
Without AD?
Yeah. Like if we can't make anything happen and we have to roll out Raymond Felton at the starting point guard this year, I'm not gonna be too fucking happy. Like,
Fat Ray.
you know what I mean? If Nick Collison's the guy this year, it's gonna be like this is a fucking wash at best. Especially when Lonzo's gonna fucking go probably 12, 10, 6 this year.
Patrick Beverly would be
they've-
a decent
they've-
good
I
rollout
would.
for you.
I'd like P. Bev. I would like that.
Dude, they're going to end up with 5 guys off this list.
I hope.
They have
They have to.
Yeah.
They've got 5
They've
guys
got
on
to
the
get
roster
5
right
of them.
now.
They've got to get 2 of them under cap space and 3 exceptions.
3 exceptions.
If it was 2 years ago, how good would Isaiah Thomas be on this team?
And there is your 8. There's your 8 that you play. And then you have Bonga and
need-
Wagner still too. You know,
You need 11 for the season. You need 8 for the playoffs.
Right, so
Like,
there's-
that's the.
excuse me, there's 10. So if you get 5 guys from that list, it's scary.
But let's hit it. You brought him up already with your conspiracy. We have it on the board. The CP3 fiasco.
Dude, unsalvageable. Quote, end quote. Did you guys see once this came out, was it yesterday, 2 days ago?
Yep.
Okay. So they showed Bleacher Report or Barstool put out James Harden's interview.
I've got the picture right here.
James Harden's press conference interview from after they lost to the Warriors. Did you see what he said?
No, what do you say?
They said, James, what do you need to do to come back next year to be able to beat Golden State? He says, I know what we got to do. We'll take care of it this summer. Don't worry about it. What do you think he was talking about?
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul being the fuck out of here.
The Bleacher Report photo saying, obviously, unsalvageable. CP3 demanded a trade, and Harden told the front office to choose between them after losing to the Warriors, per Vince Goodwill's Twitter.
Yeah.
And then CP3 commented on that Bleacher Report photo and said, damn, that's news to me.
Saving face.
Which is what means to me 100% CP3 went in that front office and demanded a trade.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Chris Paul is one of those people that I just don't think is ever happy. Like, Chris Paul was got out of L.A., forced his way out of L.A. Because he was doing everything and couldn't do everything. So I want to go to Houston where I can play off ball, hit some jumpers, score more. Now he's like, I'm a top-tier player. Why the fuck am I standing in the corner for 45 games? Like,
because you got James Harden who's been up 50.
Exactly. So he's just, it's either a series of not very good decisions or he's just perpetually unhappy.
Well, I think
perpetually unhappy.
All of what you've just said, combined with the fact that there are like local rumors of him not being the greatest human being.
And I can attest to that from when I worked on the Strip.
I think that it's him.
I think that it's him.
I think that it's him, and I'm so glad that we don't have to worry about the Lakers trading for him right now.
No,
I'm so glad because no, it's a different situation.
They said 3 days ago that was totally on the board, man.
It's a different situation.
They were talking Kuzma and a pick for that motherfucker.
If they cut Chris Paul and he comes on, all right. If Chris Paul comes on a mid-level exception, I'm not happy. But if he comes on a veteran minimum as the 9th guy, and even if he starts in that situation, I'm okay.
I could see mid-level exception. I can't see veteran.
Vet min is probably that's $2 million.
All right, good. Guess what? We don't want him. I don't want him.
I would.
I mean, he makes you better.
No,
I think
James Harden is not LeBron James. LeBron James will keep that little motherfucker in check, or he'll be on the trade deadline by fucking.
This is how I
All-Star week.
I think the perfect comparison. He's the Aaron Rodgers of the NBA, personality-wise.
He would have had to have won a ring.
I mean, fair enough on that point, but I'm saying personality-wise.
For 10 years, he was the best point guard in basketball. That's tough to dispute.
One of the top players in the league. Terrible person.
Well, see, I don't like when people talk like that in general because we don't know these guys, but there are rumors and stories. And
dude, when I was working at the Mandalay Bay, and I've heard multiple times while I was there and when I wasn't even there, that he would come in, rent the cabana, and he would treat everybody like shit.
Aaron Rodgers?
No, he's talking about Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
See, I heard the same thing about Tiger Woods, though. Like, I've heard the same thing about a lot of guys. And when you're a super fucking celebrity and every single person you see, if you were to walk down the street, there'd be 100 people try to talk to you, get you to sign something, get you to take a selfie, get you to do their fucking voicemail. That shit gets stale after 20 fucking years.
I believe that. I just don't think you have to be a dick. There's a fine line between just saying no and then being an
asshole.
Like,
people perceive saying no for being a dick.
Yeah, so like I met T.O. People might have taken this the wrong way. Like someone asked him for, he's like, I would, but I'm not gonna, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, dude was like, why? He's like, if I sign your autograph, there's gonna be a line of 30 fucking people want an autograph. Like, I'm not gonna do that because it's gonna start a thing.
Then see, I wouldn't take that as an asshole thing at all.
No, but
but
other people perceive that.
A lot of people would be like, this guy, he's got millions of dollars and won't even
all
sign something for my little retarded son.
All he can do is sign this.
Come on, man.
But dude, I get it. You don't want to be bothered, man. I don't want to be bothered, and I'm not famous.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a fucking nobody, and I don't want to talk to most of the people out there. So sorry that this guy that's worth $500 million doesn't want to talk to the guy at Mandalay Bay. I wouldn't either. Does that mean that when
they're serving you and giving you your shit and making your life easy?
No, you're working. You shouldn't be asking for autographs.
They weren't asking for autographs. They were doing their job, and he was being a dick to them for doing their job.
People are like that.
See, but that's okay. That still is just like it depends.
That's my point.
It depends.
I'm not using the autograph argument of someone went in there trying to get an autograph. No, by all means, if you don't want to sign it, don't sign it.
Everybody loves J-Lo. J-Lo took back a $15,000 tip once. Like, does that change your perception on J-Lo now?
100%.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Can't be fucking around with that shit.
Like, yeah. So, like, tipping a waitress $15,000 and then taking it away.
It's pretty fucked up.
Pretty fucked up. Yeah.
How great would it be if they just brought Memphis back to Vancouver and then changed the jerseys back?
They won't,
because
man.
The fucking old jerseys were so much nicer.
Memphis is a hotbed, bro.
What are they, the Devil Rays?
In other news, that it's not NBA, the Tampa Bay Rays were talking about splitting their time now between their home games being in Tampa Bay and their home games being in Montreal.
They could come play at Las Vegas Ballpark and get more fancy.
Yeah.
Shit.
Quick question. How many people in Tampa Bay give a fuck about the Tampa Bay Devil Rays?
972.
900 a day. That's it. What's the population of that place? About 7 million?
Just
I snorted.
Not that hot. But
ship them to ship them to Montreal, and let's get a baseball team in Vegas.
just bring them
But
here.
back to the Chris Paul thing. I think it's over. I don't think we'll see Chris Paul suit up again.
You think he's going to retire?
No. With
Rockets.
in a Rockets uniform, I think that's over. I could see both of these guys not showing up to camp until one of these things is done. I wouldn't if Chris Paul's the asshole you say he is. He's just jealous because that beard is all over the State Farm commercials.
You don't think that he is a little bit jealous?
I think he is a little bit. He's the second best player on a team for the first time in his life.
No, I agree with what you're saying. Obviously, perception is, changes by person, and my perception of him isn't very high because
But your
I've got
perception-
that personally, a negative perception because of things that I've witnessed personally.
Okay,
And this
yeah,
goes
that's
across.
fine.
This goes from you all the way up to Chris Paul. Like your perception has to have perspective, right? Chris Paul needs to understand like this ain't your team, this ain't your league, this
he
ain't
doesn't
you
get that at all.
anymore, right?
Yeah.
You're not worth the $60 million you're
He does
still
have
owed.
he does have to understand that, which I don't think he does.
Well, whether you guys like it or not, is controlling all the cards because
He's got $60 million. left
no,
to be paid.
yeah, and James Harden's the one with the problem. Basically, CP3 demanded the trade or whatever, but he's going to show up, and James Harden's going to not like that very much. So, I mean, they either got to cut him a check. Nobody's trading for a 35-year-old, $30 million point guard.
No.
Nobody.
The Bulls will.
I could see Chicago doing some shit like that.
We don't have the money, but we
Well,
would.
when you talk about teams that need to do something, like I could see the Knicks trying to do something like that. By no means do I think, but that's the
If it was a-
continual thing, right?
but if
Like,
it
how are you
was-
going to get out of that?
If it's a 1-year 30, do it. Every team would do it if it's a 1-year 30.
If he's off the
It's
books
not
after this
really-
coming
yeah, it's
year.
not affecting your cap. space
Yeah,
then after
it's
the
1 year, and then you get $30 million off the books for free agency next year. Like,
Oh, and if it's a trade, he's on a bird right, so you can re-sign him go over the cap and re-sign him also.
yeah,
But that's not the problem. You have to pay him $30 million for 2
I
years.
think the Rockets are just gonna. There's a line in the sand. They're siding with James Harden. Obviously,
You have to.
No one's gonna trade for him. So here's the check. Fuck off.
Yeah, I think
Give him.
that's
It's the Amari Stoudemire
who
situation.
are the guys in the league that have the Mozgov contracts right now?
Reggie Jackson's got one. Tristan Thompson's got one.
I would say damn near 50% of the league got one.
I would say anybody that's done anything in a playoff game once or twice has that contract right now. And the NBA is in for a rude awakening because the salary cap is 100% based on the TV deal, and ratings are down.
Is that just this year?
2 years now, 3 years now.
Was it how many years before it kicks in again?
They renegotiate in 2 years.
2 years.
But no LeBron in the playoffs, numbers huge down. Nobody even watched the Eastern Conference playoffs besides the Cavalier games the previous 4 years. Those numbers were low as shit. So if those numbers directly dictate how much you can pay players, the salaries are going to go down, and the people that are still under contract on these 5-year supermaxes,
They're going to get cut.
what other choice do the owners have?
I mean, I will say
Nothing.
this.
The salary cap-
There is no choice. You
there's
have
no
to cut
move.
them.
Exactly.
I will say this. I think you're right. Obviously, you're right that the ratings are 100% down. That's proven fact.
It's because
that you look
Jordan's
up,
not in the finals.
obviously. But I will say
We
this.
can all
I
agree
think-
that if Jordan was in the finals, the ratings would be up.
Yeah, I mean, if LeBron was in the finals, it would be way up.
Oh, I meant LeBron.
I'm
just kidding.
It would be
Just a
both
couple
of
of farm animals, some
could
goats.
You could put 55-year-old Jordan on one of those two teams this year, and the ratings would have skyrocketed. To the
Oh, yeah,
everybody
for
would
sure.
have watched.
You
But-
tell me if Jordan was playing in the Big Three, you wouldn't be watching that.
Toronto didn't need him.
They didn't. But I will say this: I am actually very excited for the NBA next year. Now, granted, I'm not happy with how it's had to happen. Like you said earlier, we don't want guys to get injured. It's worse for the league.
No, but we wanted the Beatles to break up, though.
yeah,
Fuck yeah. And now they're back.
Yeah, it turns out the Achilles heel is unfortunately Yoko Ono, but yeah,
the Warriors are
Holy
going to
pun.
be.
There's 9 teams next year. They're going to be competing
Yeah,
for a
the
championship.
NBA is going to be
Legit
very
9.
competitive next year, and that's going to be
That's
cool.
what they want.
It's good. I'm happy. It's going to be really exciting to watch the NBA next year because you're going to have the top tier teams, but I think you're going to have a couple surprises too. You're going to have a couple of those teams that take the next step, maybe that surprise you next year, which is something you wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't pay no mind to because you're
Like in Atlanta.
maybe in an Atlanta,
You guys know?
maybe a Utah.
You guys know if Dallas has any money right now?
He would be the one that knows. He's a salary cap guy.
It's over there. I don't know.
Just curious as to what they could go after for their third piece now.
How much time we got left? Make sure we fit in the old
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Let's put ourselves on a 5-minute timer here to make sure that we get the biggest piece of shit of the day.
I can just let you know.
Oh, you got it on there?
Yeah, it's giving me a timing. Because
I mean, I said it a long time ago. I wanted Clay to go down to Dallas. Obviously, that's not happening now.
that was my ideal third piece right there.
So that's not
Porzingis
happening.
and Luka ain't making shit money wise. That's why I'm thinking they got
should
money.
have
They
to.
should
They're
have.
gonna
some.
have to pay
They
them.
paid
That's the
Harrison
thing.
Barnes a pretty penny, though.
But if you can keep people on a 2-year deal until because they just have to match the offer sheet these first 4 years. Like that's still 3 years away for Luka. It's
You know
still 2
who would
years
be,
away.
I know
for
you guys
Porzingis.
want him for the Lakers, but you know who would be really good? I looked
Redick?
at this.
Ariza,
Bogdanovich.
Bogdan. You're just going for the white force in Dallas, aren't you?
Dallas
That's gonna be the slowest team in the league.
But they'll shoot it.
They can shoot the lights out.
Dallas has the least amount of
Really?
cap allocated for next year of any team,
Damn.
so they could land any of those guys.
Oh, see, I thought you were saying the least available. They have the most cash available.
Yes.
And they have the advantage of being in Texas, which does not have a state tax. You get to keep your money.
It's like a double contract in comparison to signing in New York or in California.
yeah, like dude, if
get
you're
twice the
if
amount
you're a
of money.
free agent on a max deal, why are you not going to Dallas or the Heat?
Kawhi, Kyrie,
Yeah.
Ring?
Jimmy.
Is there a state? Is there state tax in Canada?
I don't know how that works.
I don't know how that shit works at all. Maybe it's dope.
Well, aren't they more of a more of a liberally run country?
I mean, they got socialized health care. That's all I really know.
But we
So-
don't
They
know
have a
about how
single-
their actual
they have a single-
economy is.
They have a single payer healthcare system. Their economy is usually pretty good. They're small.
about-
they don't
they-
have the same problems
they
that we have.
sling about 60% of the world's timber.
Yeah.
But what about the people that work there? How are they taxed?
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
That I couldn't tell you. All right. Well, today's biggest piece of shit.
LeVar, can I switch gears with you because I have a question
You
here.
can switch gears with me anytime.
Let's stay focused here. All right.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
JD?
I wish he was my stepfather, but LeVar Ball.
Why do you wish he was your stepfather?
The entertainment value around the house has got to be sky high.
Oh,
Be
And he
awesome.
can, if you watch the show, he makes pancakes that are fire.
And if we all
But
know,
unfortunately, he's married.
And he tried to
he's-
shift gears with Molly
Yeah,
on
and
first
he-
take.
can't do that.
No, you can't. I mean, he did, so you can.
You can't do it.
But you can't come
shouldn't
back
do
to
it.
But
ESPN.
now he's been banned from ESPN.
He's been banned from ESPN.
He can't go to Disney World. Can't go to Disneyland.
I get why people don't like LeVar Ball, but this is not the reason to ban someone
was
from
gonna
a television network.
Granted, were his comments or the comment that you say, was it out of line? Maybe a little bit. It's a bit egregious to ban him from ESPN
Something
for
that I would say to you, it's like a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's a nothing.
I feel like there was. I mean, I get it.
Looking for a reason?
We're living in a day and age where
Everything is flagged.
yeah, you have to watch what you say. You know what? It's the truth of the matter. Regardless of what
Everyone's going to hold everyone accountable
Yeah.
for their own words.
I just
But a
feel like
lot of
there's-
people are afraid to use their
There
own
were so
words.
many things that he could have been banned for on ESPN that would have made more sense.
So he's going to be on FS1 every day now. I hope you know that.
Yep.
Undisputed with Shannon Sharp.
Yep. And talking bad about ESPN,
How,
I'm
mu-
sure.
how,
Oh, yeah.
how
We know that.
much of this...
Shredding first take.
How
Max,
much of this...
Sorry, Max.
ESPN's never going to win a championship again. Never going to
Sorry, JD. This is too good.
Never lost.
Yeah. What were you about to say?
How much of this do you really think is like being a fucking Disney company and being hyper PC about fucking everything?
I think that plays a part. I honestly think that they were waiting for him to slip up.
I agree. So they just have a reason not to talk to him
I
anymore.
think they were trying to get him off ESPN. He's too much of a persona to where you couldn't do it yet. And one little fuck up in the day and age that we live in, such as that, which is more than enough to do it now.
That's not even
is
bad.
what it
It wasn't even that bad.
But
Like,
you see
it's bad.
What,
Like,
you see
you
what they've
can't
done
do
with
that.
the anchors, though. Any of these anchors that have been outspoken on politics have gotten, in at least the court of public opinion, destroyed.
Like Jameel Hill.
Jamel Hill's gotten suspended. Emily Kearns got suspended. Kurt Schilling got banned from ESPN.
His were bad.
Yeah, but if it's based on religious beliefs and stuff, you have a little bit of an out. So there's that. I really hate when people get silenced, though. It drives me nuts. Like, if someone wants to act like an idiot, it's every opportunity for them to fucking act like a moron, and you can talk shit to them and expose them for what they are. But when you silence people, it's tough to keep things objective and non-jaded. And
I think it's a
It was
fine
tough
line.
to keep things objective with what he said, though.
no, he's the least objective person ever, so he's not the iron horse I want for this argument.
No, but I understand.
But like at the end of the day, people are going to say shit, and you shouldn't just be banished for having one. He's been a great father. He's going to have 3 professional athlete sons, and he says 3 words on a morning talk show.
Nobody
And
really watches.
Then nobody
Yeah, nobody
fucking
cares
watches
anymore.
anymore because Skip Bayless isn't there, and now he's banned from an entire network that controls the world. Fuck you. Fuck you. Biggest piece of shit, Disney.
We'll put them both up there for you.
Yeah.
But I think it's a fine line. I think you make a great point. You don't want to silence people, but at the same time, if you go on and you act like a fuckhead, then you're going to be fired or you're going to be let go.
Yeah, but when they let people go, they've never put out a statement saying this person has a lifetime ban either. It's a LeVar Ball special. Like,
It's never happened before.
they just say, like, unfortunately, the other person has moved on and they will no longer be working at ESPN. They're like, no, LeVar will never be back. He flirted with someone, and that is illegal by the state and conduct of our guests. If that was James Harden, would anyone care?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Well,
Oops.
look, feel free to cut around this, Chris.
Yeah.
But thank you guys yet again. Episode 10, right?
Yep.
10 episodes
Thank
now?
you for having me, guys. I
Jay, thanks
appreciate
for
it.
coming out, sir.
The free agency draft extravaganza.
We're not exactly sure
I
what's
think-
going to
I think
happen,
we're
but
gonna
you might
have-
be on here very soon
I think
again.
we're going to have you next week, too.
Well, it was good to be on because when we were earlier in the year, I was like, man, I really want to be here for the free agency episode. But then KD got hurt, so it's not as exciting. But I still had fun.
We'll see. When does free agency officially start?
I think it's July 3.
Fuck, dude, I looked at this
So
shit.
maybe a week or two into free agency, we will have JD
Well,
back on again.
typically once the biggest star signs, then usually it starts dropping like flies because
Yeah.
people want to keep the money up for the big guys. So
So he'll be back here soon.
Next week, we'll definitely do a draft wrap-up along with free agency, but it's going to be strictly NBA still, and then after free agency kind of winds down, then we'll get back into the heart of baseball and training camp for football and hockey, actually.
Yep.
Fuck, dude.
It's the down season. Nah. Right after basketball ends or free agency starts, after that ends, it's the down season.
Baseball's
for a little
hot.
bit. Baseball doesn't get hot till September. But thank you guys yet again. Episode 10 coming your way here soon. JD Buonantony, special guest. Thanks for coming out.
And shout out the U.S. women's national team in the World Cup.
God, they're fucking dominating.
go Netherlands.
Wow, 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 wow.